Hey, hi everyone. So today I'll be going through PSLE 2024 question number 40. Carol glue two types of block of the same size A and B and place them in the water as shown. Okay, so based on the block, state the differences in physical property between the two blocks. So physical property are things like your strength, your flexibility, okay, things like this. Okay, but if once you see water, there can only be two physical property that's related to water. Number one is your waterproofness. And number two will be your float or sink. Float or sink in water. Okay? So in this case, very clear cut. This is a case of a float or sink. Okay, nothing to do with waterproofness. So the differences in physical property is related to float or sink. That means either one sink, one float. Okay, so let's take a look. So A, in this case, you take a look. A is floating when B there's one block. Okay, A is sinking when B there's two blocks. Obviously, A is the one that's float. A is the one that float. Okay, on this portion. Okay, because if you think about this, you remove B onwards, actually A will start to float up. Okay, you need a lot more material, right, to actually push A down so that A won't float. So in this case, B must be the one that is sinking. It is pushing the weight, is pushing A down so that A does not have a chance to float up. Okay, because there's a lot more B we see in this part. So A floats on water while B sinks in water. Okay, so I'll insert a video now to show you exactly how does it look like in a real world environment after showing you the answer. Okay, so A floats, B sinks. I will insert the video now. Okay everyone, so this is experiment to showcase question number 40. So this is block A, which is a styrofoam block. So if I pour in water, right, you notice that the styrofoam block will float. It will float up. So using the same diagram in the question, right, to make the styrofoam block sink, right, I have to use B, which is this item over here. It's actually a copper block. So let me just put it inside. So you can see that if I put it in, right, it will cause the styrofoam block to sink in water. Okay, because the iron block is or block B is actually weighing it down. So this is exactly what block A is and block B is. Okay, to ensure that the floating block A remains sinking because there is a weight pushing it down. Okay, so this is how it looks like in real life scenario. Okay, so for part B, Carol next place another two blocks of the same size in the water. So C and D no longer A and B. She concluded that the two blocks are made of the same material. Okay, state if you agree with Carol's conclusion, explain your answer. Okay, so basically we disagree. Why? Because although these two things float on water, okay, float on water, it doesn't mean they must be the same material. Okay, it doesn't mean. Okay, there is just too little evidence or there's just too little information for us to tell whether they are the same material or not. Okay, for instance, I can give you an example. Okay, I could have a styrofoam, I could have a wood. Both float, right? Okay, but styrofoam and wood, are they the same material? They are not the same material. Okay, so this is the case of not possible to tell. Okay, in short, NPTT. Okay, in science they will always have this kind of situation, too little information. Okay, she's trying to make an argument that seems to be correct, but it's actually incorrect. Okay, if you can find ways to argue or to state that her conclusion is incorrect. So in this case, disagree. Okay, it is not possible to tell if C and D are made of the same material as. Okay, there are many different materials that can also float on water as well. Okay, so it doesn't mean float on water they must be the same material. Okay, there are many different material that can float on water. Or another way that you want to rephrase this part is, although C and D are able to float on water, there are many different materials that could also float on water. So C and D may not be made of the same material. Okay, so in this case, so with that we are more or less done with this question. Thank you very much.